What do you think causes belly fat? Diet, lack of exercise, stress, hormones, genetics, medications, drinking too many Cokes or too much beer? The top cause of belly fat isn't exactly what you think. Stay tuned to learn the unexpected truth.
I'm Dr. Vicki Petz Casper. I practiced obstetrics and gynecology for 20 years until I landed on the other side of the sheets as a very sick patient. When my own body betrayed me, I took a handful of pills to manage my disease and another handful to counteract the side effects. My health was out of control. Through surgery, medications, and lots of prayers, I regained my strength only to face another diagnosis. My doctor challenged me to make radical changes through lifestyle medicine. Now I feel great and I want to help you make changes that make a difference. Healthy Looks Great on You podcast takes you to many medical schools so you can learn the power of lifestyle medicine. If you're ready to take control of your health, you're in the right place. Whether you're focused on prevention or you're trying to manage a condition, I'll give you practical steps to start your own journey toward better health, because healthy looks great on you.
This is episode 173. What causes belly fat? Unexpected truth. Recently, my husband and I decided that we needed to eat out less. Skip the 1,500 kilocalorie appetizer before the meal even arrives, laden with excess salt, fat, and who knows what to make it absolutely delicious with a portion size that could easily feed 2 to 4 people. But it's not the flavor that keeps us coming back, and it's definitely not the service. Yet, here we sit, perusing the menu and mindlessly stuffing my face with chips while I wait. No wonder my pants are getting tight. Sun Tzu, a Chinese military philosopher, said, "Know the enemy and know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be in peril." So let's recap the enemy first. Excess belly fat doubles your risk of premature death. Whew, I'd say that is a perilous threat. We are talking about cardiovascular disease, certain types of cancer, fatty liver, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, stroke, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, pulmonary disease, digestive issues, as well as obesity. A mortal bulge that causes a 2-fold increase needs to be taken very seriously. Now that you know the enemy, know thyself. And last week we looked at ourselves through the lens of lifestyle medicine's 6 pillars: stress, harmful substances, social connection, sleep, diet, and fitness. If you're like me, midlife, juggling a lot, craving sugar, and watching your belly grow no matter what you eat, this is for you. So what if I told you that the solution isn't another diet, but instead a $50 pantry plan that costs you nothing? I created a free guide with 10 simple items you can stock in the pantry, 10 in the freezer, and 10 support staff so that you can make a healthy meal in minutes. And it's not about restriction, it's about rescue, your time, money, and metabolism. So grab the guide at www.healthylooksgreatonyou.com/pantry guide. But the top cause of belly fat may surprise you still. Let's start with something we agree upon. Ultra-processed foods are killing our bodies and our brains. But processed foods aren't actually the underlying problem. Nope, they are the misapplied treatment for the real problems. You see, the problem isn't necessarily on the outside and not really on the inside either. You don't have too much adipose tissue around your middle because you have too little willpower inside your soul. Though you will need a longer tape measure if you consume calories exceeding your energy needs, that's just not the root of the problem. You have to eat to live. And usually when someone is trying to break the cycle of cravings, they need about 2 weeks of abstinence. For example, when someone quits smoking, they rarely cut back successfully. Nope, they throw the things in the trash and stop buying more. They just quit completely. But if you quit eating completely, You will lose your belly fat along with the rest of the fat in your body, your muscles, and eventually you will starve to death. Because we can't abstain from the thing we crave, this is a hard one to treat. Now, the very day that we made that decision to cut back on dining out, we got home at 4 p.m. and we generally eat around 5 p.m. So that left 1 hour to plan, shop, prep, and cook a meal. Or we could just open the DoorDash app, push a few buttons, and voila, food lands on our doorstep in minutes with zero effort and excess everything, including dollars. So let's take another step back and explore the real issue at work. The drive to whip through the drive-thru or request a table for two every night of the week, or easy to order food in a bag that used to be called takeout and is now bring to, is fueled not by hunger or weakness or laziness or misinformation about which diet is best. What really keeps us from eating at home is a systems problem, the absence of a plan. Without a plan, we default to convenience. While convenience makes us consume excess calories and uses excess money from our budget, convenience also consumes us. But look, we can eat convenience at home too. Packaged food that comes in a bag or a box and has multiple ingredients is generally on the same level as the blue plate special at your favorite diner. Though processed food is not the top cause of belly fat, it is often the vehicle on which it rides in. Want to know why we want instant everything? Because we're busy, and busyness keeps us from planning. Convenience is driven by busyness, and busyness is driven by an insatiable appetite for more. And no, I'm not talking about food at all. But again, we have to eat. Processed foods make up about 60% of the standard American diet. It's not that we're lazy, it's that we're busy. If you're a sports mom, you probably get plenty of hot dogs. And no, jalapenos on your nachos do not count as a serving of vegetables. So what's a person to do when you want to cook, but you're out of time and you haven't been to the store or prepared anything? And we haven't even talked about decision fatigue, because not only are you out of fresh food, you're fresh out of ideas about what to prepare again. I have some great news for you. I created a pantry guide with staples to keep on hand so that you can eat at home without spending a lot of money, time, or gas to run to the store at the last minute. Now look, I'm a mediocre cook, but here's the deal. Elaborate chefs use elaborate ingredients, and the delectable end result comes from considerable time in the kitchen. Ain't nobody got time for that. But the alternative doesn't have to be an appetizer, an entree, and dessert, then walking back to the car regretting that we didn't wear stretchy pants. And it also doesn't always mean ordering a salad with the dressing on the side either. So here's what I did. I opened the freezer and went to the pantry because I keep some things stocked and I am a pro at whipping them up into a meal. It's an ongoing experiment. If it turns out good, my husband declares, that is a do-over. Problem is, I'm not always exactly sure what it is that I did. So I've tried to start writing it down. The other problem is that I rarely measure things, so there's always a little guesswork in do-overs. I'm trying to get better at that. Because what you need is a plan. Now look, you're not going to be interested in my plan if you cringe at the thought of not eating meat with every single solitary meal. I mean, what if you don't get enough protein? Come on, in every episode, we go to mini medical school to learn the current understanding of what the evidence is showing. Today, class is going to take about an hour and a half. I'm kidding. But seriously, you will have to stay tuned to get the whole picture about protein, plants, and the best diets for longevity, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, dementia, mental health, obesity, and belly fat. And that brings us back to the top cause of expanding waistlines. No plan for the sake of convenience. I'm not asking you to go vegan or even vegetarian. I'm asking you to rethink what you keep in your pantry. A plant-forward approach can help you outsmart your cravings, stabilize hormones, and fight belly fat without fancy recipes or going hungry. Remember, I'm the one with no willpower when it comes to hunger. Here's one of the best parts of eating more plant-based, especially when you're building meals from the pantry staples I share in this guide. You don't have to obsess over portion sizes or fear snacking. When you're eating real, whole, nutrient-dense foods, think beans, grains, vegetables, seeds, your body gets full on fiber, not fluff. These foods are naturally lower in calories, but high in the nutrients your body craves. So instead of fighting hunger or counting every bite or grams of carbs or grams of fat, you'll feel satisfied and energized. And that is freedom. And let's be honest, aren't we all tired of diets that leave us hungry? So if you're tired of the 5 p.m. dinner panic, or worse, the regret that comes after another night of takeout, grab my free pantry guide. It's filled with simple plant-powered staples that make it easy to throw together a meal in just a few minutes. No fancy ingredients, no stress, just real food that helps you feel better, think clearer, and yes, trim that stubborn belly fat over time. Remember, when you fuel your body with nutrient-dense foods, you nourish yourself, and that shows up in your energy, your mindset, and how you show up for the people you love. So head to www.healthylooksgreatonyou.com/pantry guide and get the free guide so we can take the guesswork out of dinner together. And tell me, what's one thing in your pantry that's helped you ditch takeout? Send me a message or leave me a review. If you routinely show up to dinner with no plan, then no problem, because I've got you covered. Because what if the real convenience is opening your pantry and whipping up something healthy in a short period of time? Now that's healthy for your body, mind, and family. And healthy looks great on you.
The information contained in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not considered to be a substitute for medical advice. You should continue to follow up with your physician or healthcare provider and take medication as prescribed. Though the information in this podcast is evidence-based, new research may develop and recommendations may change.